Yo, Emily, it's the week before Christmas and your fam's off to some fancy ski resort in Colorado. You're 16, living in a big ol' suburban house outside Chicago, and somehow, in the holiday chaos, they straight up forget you. You wake up to an empty house, pizza boxes from last night's feast still litter in the kitchen. Your phone's blowing up with texts from your cousin Jake. Yo, Em, you coming or what? You check the garage, car's gone. You're home alone, and it feels kinda dope at first. You crank the tunes, blast some Post Malone, and start munching leftover pepperoni slices. But then you overhear something shady on the neighborhood Ring app. Two sketchy dudes, Vinny and Marco, are planning to hit houses while everyone's off on vacay. Your house, with its big windows and fancy Christmas lights, is their top pick. Ain't no way you're letting these clowns ruin your vibe. You scope the situation. Vinny's the brains, always bragging about his foolproof plans on some shady ex-post you dig up. Marco's the muscle, but he's dumber than a bag of hammers. You got 24 hours before they show up, so you channel your inner Kevin McAllister and get to work. First, you rig the front porch with a slick layer of ice. Your dad's hose and the Chicago cold make it a skating rink. You snag a bunch of Christmas ornaments from the tree, fill them with glitter and hot sauce, and hang them low on the stairs. Trip hazard, meet face melter. You also grab your brother's old paintball gun from the basement, loaded with neon green ammo, and set it up by the back door. For the grand finale, you haul the giant inflatable Santa from the yard and prop it in the living room, rigged to a motion sensor that'll blast air horn-level Christmas carols when triggered. Night falls, and you're chillin' with a Red Bull, watching the security cams. Vinny and Marco roll up in a beat-up van, looking all cocky. Vinny tries the front door, slips on the ice, and faceplants like a total noob. Marco's laughing his head off till he steps on the stairs, crunches the ornaments, and gets a face full of glitter and hot sauce. He's screaming, "My eyes, yo!" while flailing like a fish. They regroup and try the back door. You flip the switch on the paintball gun, and it unloads, splattering Marco's jacket with green goo. He's yelling, "This is designer, man!" Vinny, still thinking he's slick, makes it to the living room. Boom! The inflatable Santa pops up, and Jingle Bells blares so loud he drops his crowbar. You're watching from the attic, trying not to laugh your head off. You call the cops on the low, and by the time Vinny and Marco are tangled in a pile of Christmas lights you rigged in the hallway, the sirens are closing in. The cops haul them off, and you're the neighborhood hero. Your fam gets back, totally clueless, and you just smirk, eating another slice of pizza. Y'all missed a wild night, you say, kicking back like the queen you are. Story 2, Emily's Haunted Hustle. Yo, Emily, it's a chilly December night, and your fam's ditched you again. This time, they're off to some lame holiday party in the city, leaving you in your creaky old house on the edge of town. You're 16, used to their forgetful nonsense, but tonight feels off. The house is dark, the wind's howling outside, and the power's flickering like it's auditioning for a horror flick. You're chillin' on the couch, scrollin' X, when you see a creepy post from a local account. Old Miller house on Maple Street's cursed, bet nobody's brave enough to break in. That's your house, and now you're feeling uneasy, like someone's watching. You check the windows, locked tight, but then you hear it, a low, raspy hum coming from the basement. Ain't no way that's the furnace. You grab your phone, a flashlight, and your brother's baseball bat, cause you're not about to be the dumb chick in a scary movie. Downstairs, you find nothing but cobwebs and old junk, but the hum's louder, like someone's whispering your name, Emily. Nice. You nope out of there real quick, heart pounding. Back upstairs, you spot two shadowy figures creeping in the backyard through the kitchen window. They ain't your typical burglars, these dudes. Carl and Zeke look straight out of a nightmare. Carl's got a weird limp, and Zeke's got this freaky grin you can see even in the dark. You dig into X and find rumors they're not just thieves, they're obsessed with cursed houses, thinking they can steal whatever's causing the haunt. Your house is their latest target, and they're coming tonight. You're not letting these weirdos, or whatever's humming in the basement, win. Time to MacGyver this joint. You grab a bunch of old Halloween props from the attic, a motion-activated skeleton that cackles, some fake blood, and a fog machine your dad used for last year's party. You rig the skeleton at the front door, slather fake blood on the porch steps to make them slippery, and set the fog machine to blast in the hallway. For extra creep, you record yourself whispering, "Get out," on a loop and hook it to a Bluetooth speaker hidden in the vents. You also find an old mirror in the basement, dusty and weirdly cold to the touch. The hum gets louder when you're near it, so you prop it in the living room, hoping it'll freak out Carl and Zeke. Last touch, you string fishing line across the stairs with bells tied to it so you'll hear 'em coming. Night hits and the house feels alive, creaking and groaning. Carl and Zeke slink up to the porch. Carl steps in the fake blood, slips and wipes out, screaming like a banshee. The skeleton pops off, cackling, and Zeke drops his flashlight, yelling, "This place is cursed, man." They push through the fog-filled hallway, coughing and tripping over the bells. Your creepy whisper loop kicks in, and Zeke's losing it like, "I heard her, Carl, she's dead or something." They hit the living room, and the mirror starts glowing, not part of your plan. The hum's back, louder, and now you're spooked too. Carl stares into the mirror, and his face goes pale like he sees something awful. Zeke bolts, screaming, "I'm done, yo!" Carl tries to follow, but trips on your fishing line, face-planting into a pile of Christmas tinsel you left as a trap. You're hiding in the closet, watching on your phone's security app when the hum stops. The mirror's still glowing, and you swear you see a shadow move inside it. You call the cops, whispering so you don't tip off Carl, who's still tangled in tinsel. The police roll up, nab Carl, and Zeke's long gone, probably still running. The cops don't believe your haunted mirror story, but they take it as evidence, saying it's tied to some old urban legend. Your fam gets home, oblivious, complaining about the party. You don't say a word about the night, but you slide that creepy mirror into the trash before they notice. "Ain't dealing with that again," you mutter, chugging a Mountain Dew, wondering if the hum was real or just your imagination playing tricks. Story 3, Emily's Ghostly Grind. Yo, Emily, it's Christmas Eve, and your fams pulled their classic move, jetted off to some holiday shindig at your aunt's place in the burbs, leaving you behind in your big, drafty house. You're 16, used to their scatterbrained ways, but tonight's giving you the chills. The snow's piling up outside, the streetlights are flickering, and your old house is creaking like it's got a mind of its own. You're sprawled on the couch, scrolling X, when you stumble on a thread about your neighborhood. Some rando posted, "That house on Elm's got a bad rep, last owner's vanished, bet it's haunted." That's your crib, and now your stomach's doing flips. You hear a weird scratching sound from the attic, like nails on wood. Ain't no squirrels making that noise. You grab a flashlight, your dad's old golf club, and a can of Monster for courage. Up in the attic, you find an old trunk half open with a busted lock. Inside's a dusty photo of two creepy-looking dudes in old-timey clothes staring like they know you're looking. The scratching stops, but now you hear footsteps downstairs. Heavy ones. This ain't your fam coming back early. You peek out the window and spot two goons lurking by the garage. Lenny and Gus, they're not your average burglars. Ex-posts say they're ghost hunters turned thieves, obsessed with stealing cursed relics from haunted houses. Word is, they think your place has some old artifact tied to the vanished owners. You're not about to let these clowns, or whatever's scratching in the attic, mess up your night. Time to go full Home Alone, but creepy AF, you dig through the garage and find a box of old Halloween props, a strobe light, fake cobwebs, and a creepy doll with one eye missing. You set the strobe in the foyer to disorient him, drape cobwebs over the staircase to slow him down, and prop the doll on a rocking chair in the living room, rigged to a string that'll make it move. You also grab a bag of marbles and scatter them by the back door. For the attic, you set up a fan with torn fabric strips to make a ghostly wail when it spins. Last touch, you drag that creepy trunk downstairs and hide a speaker inside, playing a low, guttural moan you recorded off a horror game. Night falls and the house feels wrong. The air's heavy and the photo from the trunk keeps popping into your head. Lenny and Gus creep up, flashlights bouncing. Lenny tries the back door, steps on the marbles, and goes down hard, cussing like, "Yo, what the hell?" Gus laughs, but trips in the cobwebs on the stairs, getting tangled and freaking out. The strobe light kicks on, flashing like a rave from hell, and they're both yelling, "This place is cursed, man!" They push into the living room where the doll starts rocking. Gus screams, "It's alive!" and drops his bag of tools. The fan in the attic kicks on, wailing like a banshee, and Lenny's shaken, muttering about ghosts. They find the trunk, but when they open it, your moaning speaker blares and they bolt toward the door, only to slip on more marbles. You're watching from the pantry, trying not to lose it, but then the lights flicker and you swear you see a shadow move behind Lenny, not your trap, something else. Your heart's racing, but you keep it together and text the cops from your phone, keeping it low-key. Lenny's still trying to grab the trunk when the shadow moves again, and now he sees it. He freezes, eyes wide, and whispers, "Gus, we gotta go." Gus is already halfway out the door, screaming. The cops roll up, lights flashing, and nab them both as they stumble into the snow, babbling about ghosts. Your fam gets home, clueless as ever, complaining about traffic. You don't tell them about the night, but you shove that trunk into the garage and cover it with a tarp. "Ain't touching that again," you mutter, sipping your monster, eyes flicking to the attic. The scratching's gone, but you can't shake the feeling something's still up there, watching.